Hello, my name's Kevin. I had surgery on my bicep 2 days ago, at the bottom end of my bicep, the distal part. As I say, 2 days ago. I should have been out the same day, but there was a problem with the nerve block. It wore off a bit too quick, and I had surgery late in the day. I broke my bicep 2 weeks ago, so it was 2 weeks to the day I had the operation. There's various schools of thought of obviously when to have the operation done, sooner rather than later, according to the surgeon. So I say it was 2 weeks. Just all I was doing was I was pivoting a tall window frame off of a bench that I was working on, and the bench slipped, and obviously the pivot point changed. I was left with the weight totally on my right arm. Heard a pop, felt a bit worse for wear, more the sound of the pop than the actual pain itself. So I've seen a few of the blogs that have been put on, mainly sort of, there's a lot of bodybuilders and things like that. I'm not, I keep relatively fit, but I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm fairly active. When I saw the doctor 2 weeks ago, he sort of gave me the option of not having the surgery done. Gave me some very satisfactory sort of outcomes of not having the surgery done. I started off by deciding, no, I don't think I'll have the surgery done. Probably about an hour after I got home, I thought to myself, I'm only just in my 50s. What possible reason should I have not to have the surgery done? And I couldn't come up with any reasons why I shouldn't have it done. So then contacted the hospital again to get another appointment. I know a lot of the guys that post videos on here are Americans, and generally speaking, going through an insurance scheme and this, that and the other, that things get done a lot quicker. Obviously I'm in England, and things are done in the National Health Service, so I automatically thought this is going to take forever. To my surprise, I got another appointment about 4 days after my initial appointment. I spoke to the surgeon. The surgeon then said, "Well, how about tomorrow?" So it was 2 weeks to the day that when I broke my bicep to when I had the surgery. They do it on a day case, but it didn't quite work out for me, because the day I spent most of the day lying in bed, and they took me down probably about 5 o'clock in the evening. The operation, it only lasted, I think, 45 minutes to an hour. As I say, they put you out, general anaesthetic, then they use a nerve block. The problem was with me was that when I got back onto the ward, the nerve block had already started to wear off for some reason. So they decided to keep me in overnight. So I was in hospital probably until 3 o'clock yesterday, because I had to see a physio before I left. They give you, they basically tell you what you can do and what you can't. No lifting anything heavier than a cup of tea, that sort of thing. I was very lucky, and this helped me a lot, of watching other people's blogs or videos on YouTube, was that having the forethought of asking to have a brace. This is the brace. It's called a ROM brace, range of movement brace. This, if you don't have this, they'll put your arm in a plaster and set it in a position. With this, I can I can move upwards a certain amount, and you can move your fingers anyway if you are in a plaster. But what they do is, after a couple of weeks, they can change this dial to obviously lengthen that out. So they can then let you move your arm downwards, because obviously after the surgery, if you're having your bicep tied back onto your forearm, you can't just straighten your arm straight out, because otherwise you just rip the sutures away from the anchor point, and obviously that isn't a very good thing to do. I can move my fingers, I can feel all my fingers, I haven't got any numbness that I can feel. The downsides obviously to having the surgery that they tell you beforehand is nerve damage. I mean, I don't know, I might have something, on the surface on my forearm that they said might happen, but other than that, apart from a sort of quite a dull ache, everything sort of seems okay at the moment. Obviously the mechanics of everything is, obviously your bicep helps towards the lifting, but the main part of it is to turning your palm outwards. Obviously, as I've had my bicep reattached to my forearm, and it's only been a couple of days, it hurts like whatever to try and turn my hand palm upwards. But they have told me over the sort of next couple of weeks to try and get that movement going. Obviously the pain's still there a little bit, so it is still a bit hard to do. As I say, I've watched a few of these blogs on YouTube, and it did help me quite a lot. People say, if you've got something wrong with you, whatever you do, don't Google it. So first thing I did was Googled it, because I just wanted to see the experience of other people. When you're seeing people like strong men, like Brian Shaw, for example, waving his arms around and doing this after sort of 5 weeks, 6 weeks of surgery, and seeing how quickly he's recovered. Some of the guys I've seen getting active very quickly. It's very sort of sobering when something like this happens, and you think to yourself, obviously I am getting a little bit older, and I think that the thing that did go towards me breaking my bicep in the first place was that I am in my 50s, but what you shouldn't do is go, oh well, whatever, I'll just leave it and won't bother doing anything about it. I'll probably post another one of these in a couple of weeks just to see how things go. I'm sort of quite positive about it at the moment. I'm off work. Probably won't be able to drive for probably 5-6 weeks. But hopefully get back to work before then. But I would say I've got another probably 16, 17 years left at work, and obviously I need my strength through my normal daily life. I need my strength at work. There's that thought of having something in your body that isn't working properly. If you are thinking about having it done or not having it done, I've had one operation in my life probably about 30 years ago. It is daunting thinking that you're going to be put out and you're not in control. There was a guy next to me in the bed. He'd fallen out of a tree and smashed his arm to pieces. He was looking at about 3 operations, cage on the outside of his arm, and just totally distraught. But when I came back from theatre and I was like, everything's gone fine, it bucked him up a little bit. And obviously sitting in the waiting room, waiting the anaesthesia room just before you go in, and everybody putting your mind at rest. When I came out, felt I'd done the right thing. obviously before you go in you don't think you've done the right thing, but yeah, I'm definitely sure I've done the right thing. Because if I hadn't have got it done, I would have been thinking for the next, I don't know how many years, you know, when I went to lift something and I had a stronger left hand than I had a right hand, or I went to turn something and it wasn't as strong. The second doctor I saw was very positive towards having the surgery done. The first doctor not so much, but I'm glad I saw the second doctor. Very positive guy, very seemed like 100% that the outcome would be good. He obviously said that there may be some issues. I joked with him when he said that there may be some nerve damage, and I said, well, I said to him, you're not going to go in with a JCB digger. And he says, no, we use angle grinders these days. And it's just that the staff were so good. The anaesthesiast, before he gave me my anaesthetic, said, this is just like a gin and tonic. So I was waiting for a glass, but it wasn't. It was a cannula. But so I'm going to post another one of those in a couple of weeks, just to sort of let you know. I think it's helpful to watch some of these videos, and there's loads of them around. A lot of it is there are people asking whether they should have it done or not, and I was one of those that didn't know. I wasn't one of those definites. Well, I'm going to have it done. That's it. What would I do without my guns? And that wasn't me. It was more to do with having something in your body that wasn't going to work properly anymore, and there was a chance of fixing it. It is a lengthy recovery period, but you know, if you understand that and you can cope with that, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not going to be as upbeat in a few weeks when I can't use my arm as well as I could before, because before I had the operation I could actually move my arm around and turn my wrist up, and there was a certain amount of supination, I think it's called, there. But hopefully things go well, and I'm probably going to sign off now because I've probably bored you all to death, and say this is part 1. Thanks very much for listening. Cheers.